In case you haven't heard, The Sound of Freedom released on July 4th and it's doing well enough in the box office sales to compete with Oppenheimer and Barbie, which is really saying something. There seems to be a lot of pushback in Hollywood about the movie and its subject matter, which is child trafficking. And since there's a long-standing history of things like grooming and child abuse in the entertainment industry, it makes sense that many of the higher-ups in Hollywood are against graphic depictions of this stuff because their actions would be exposed. And of course, some celebrities have come out and publicly supported the movie. But what no one could really predict was this unusual pairing. Did Elon Musk just team up with Mel Gibson? What are these two saying about this movie, and why do they want people to see it? With a movie about child trafficking being released and making big bucks at the box office, you'd think that loads of celebrity activists would be talking about this. Seriously, it's made over $100 million. But celebrities and the media are so silent about this movie that there's about a 50-50 chance as to whether you've even heard of it. Unless you're one of those awesome people that follows our channel and have already heard our take on it, of course. In case you're not aware, the movie is about a former Department of Homeland Security agent, Tim Ballard, who conducts a mission in Colombia to save two children, a brother and sister, from a child trafficking ring. In real life, Ballard quit his job with the US government in order to fight sex trafficking. It stars Jim Caviezel, who starred in Mel Gibson's The Passion of the Christ, as none other than Jesus Christ himself. So the guy has a way of landing the ultimate starring roles for sure. And because of this role in previous Mel Gibson movies, that's probably a lot of the reason that Gibson is so adamant about supporting this one. Not that we doubt that he actually wants to raise awareness for child trafficking, of course. Why aren't any of the activists in Hollywood talking about this movie when it discusses something so important? Well, there's speculation that someone in Hollywood is telling them to keep their mouths shut. One of the things the movie portrays that has people raising their eyebrows as to why it's being all but banned by Hollywood is Hollywood elites and their participation in trafficking. And there's probably some good reason for people to think that celebrities are being told to keep quiet about it. Jim Caviezel has stated that after taking on his role as Tim Ballard in The Sound of Freedom, he lost agents and lawyers. I want this to be so huge that they're forced to look at this. I lost my agents over this. Yep, 17 years, 15 years, I lost my lawyer over this, and now I understand why all these actors didn't want to do this movie because of this. It's one thing for the celebrities to sit this movie out and not talk about it, but every major streaming site has also decided not to show it. So you can't watch it on Amazon, Hulu, or even Netflix. There's a lot of speculation going around that the reason none of these platforms has picked it up is due to it being blackballed by Hollywood elites, who aren't too fond of being exposed for their role in these trafficking rings. But you know who's not afraid to rattle some cages and speak up whenever no one else is? Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson has been there literally from day one, singing this movie's praises, talking about it, and raising awareness. He's also in the same breath advocating all forms of organizations and efforts to stop and prevent trafficking, and he's been pushing for the movie to be shown worldwide. But his hardcore promotion of The Sound of Freedom has subjected him to a lot of backlash and scrutiny from other actors and celebrities in Hollywood, possibly because they're involved in some of these activities themselves. And during Gibson's campaign to bring awareness to this human rights issue, one big-name celebrity in particular got brought up: Oprah Winfrey. Now you might be thinking, what on earth does Oprah have to do with a movie about child trafficking? But stick with me. A lot of people think that the school is a hub for trafficking. The Oprah Winfrey Leadership Academy for Girls was opened in South Africa in 2007. And right after it opened, a matron at the school, named Virginia Troy Marcopo, got in trouble for sexually molesting a number of the girls that attended the school. When word got out, Oprah fired the headmistress, Lerato Nomvio Mizamne, and publicly made this statement: "Nothing is more serious or devastating to me than an allegation of misconduct by an adult against any girl at the academy. I will do everything within my power to ensure their safety and well-being." But that doesn't seem to be the case, because the school has been rocked by several sex scandals since its creation, and recently, Twitter has blown up talking about girls going missing from the academy. Now, Mel hasn't exactly called Oprah out specifically, but he's definitely called out Hollywood elitists who pose as philanthropists while doing horrible things behind closed doors, and it could definitely be said that Oprah fits that bill. He also said, "The powerful and controlling figures intentionally want the details of this kind of trading not to be leaked." And Elon Musk has jumped on the bandwagon to promote The Sound of Freedom, When the movie's production studio tweeted about the movie to promote it along with the trailer, Elon replied, "I recommend putting it on this platform for free for a brief period or just asking people to subscribe to support. We would not keep any funds." Of course, the people behind the movie were interested in hearing what Musk had to say, and they responded, "That's an interesting idea. Let's chat." His support is not only helpful to the movie, but could be a smart business move as well. It would get people flocking to Twitter to watch the movie, plus it helps propel his push to compete with YouTube. Elon's support on Twitter has prompted other celebrities to get brave and voice their support. Like country singer John Rich. He said, "Hey Elon Musk, I appreciate your acknowledgement of how vitally important this film, The Sound of Freedom, is to the world. Would you please retweet the post below? Every adult in America needs to see this movie. You can make a huge difference with the click of a button. Thank you." One user said this about the prospect of the movie being shown on Twitter. "I would predict the movie would gross more by opening on Twitter with subscriptions than just in theaters. More importantly, it'd be seen by more people worldwide, and that needs to happen." There's no question that Elon Musk was anti-traffic before The Sound of Freedom was even out. In November 2022, he tweeted this, "Removing child exploitation is priority number one. Please reply in comments if you see anything that Twitter needs to address." Once he took the reins of Twitter, his head of safety has been working to remove material relating to child sexual abuse. Since Musk took over, he's made it a point to let go any employees who were aware of this sort of material but who didn't do anything to delete or stop it. Within a month of Musk's Twitter acquisition, it suspended almost 300,000 Twitter accounts for violations of child sexual exploitation policies, which was a 57% increase. They're also working to ban users who search for terms that involve child sex abuse. You may be wondering how we know that Mel Gibson is in support of The Sound of Freedom. Well, he made a video on Twitter in support of it.
"One of the most disturbing problems in our world today is human trafficking, and particularly the trafficking of children. Now, the first step in eradicating this crime is awareness. Go see Sound of Freedom."
While there had been reports going around online that Gibson was working on a 4-part docuseries on sex trafficking, that turned out to be false. Ballard says, "I am personally grateful for his support as we've worked on this documentary. However, reports that this 4-part series is actually being produced by Mr. Gibson are not accurate. It's being produced by Nick Nanton of DNA Files and includes several executive producers such as Kyle Cease, Tony and Sage Robbins, and other wonderful and talented people." Ballard says that when he busted up this ring in the Ukrainians provided him with the naked of more than 10,000 children that had been displaced due to the war with Russia. All we hear is that Mel Gibson tipped Operation Underground Railroad off about a child sex trafficking ring in the Ukraine, and they went and busted it up. And we don't know about you, but we're here for it. Wouldn't it be cool if both Mel Gibson and Elon Musk jumped in and supported the docuseries? That sort of clout would almost certainly boost its success. What do you think about Gibson and Musk supporting The Sound of Freedom? Would you watch it if they streamed it on Twitter? Let us know down in the comments, and we'll see you in the next video.